Hello guys, welcome to Creepypasta Storytime with me, GilloBoiJr. This is Midna's Sorrow from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Hope you enjoy. Please help her. She's very, very lonely. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess has to have been one of my most favourite games in the series. I loved how you could transform into a wolf and see things you couldn't see as a human. I love how the mood of the game makes it feel like a really depressing storyline for once. The game really reminds me of Soul Eater, and that'll always be good enough for me. Now, I started playing the game in 2011. I was old enough to start using my sister's GameCube, and I played with it all of the time, of course. My top priority was to be Twilight Princess, and see Midna turn into a badass looking Twilight Princess thingy. But at some point, I was stuck on the Temple of Time for a really, really long time, and I had a little rage quit, so I put the game down for a while. Shortly afterwards, I started getting into other games such as Persona 4 and Tekken Tag Team Tournament. It was about 2 years since I'd last played Twilight Princess, which is as long as I've had my Nintendo Wii. I got it for Christmas. Now don't get me wrong, I still play Zelda games, but I was sort of avoiding Twilight Princess, since I wasn't really into the game as much as I was then. Seeing as though my social life had gotten bigger, I was doing more productive things with my time, other than playing video games. But I decided to start playing it again eventually. I had gotten my Wii boosted up with the game, and got my controller and my memory card from my room. There was a quick white flash on the title screen, but I figured it was just a small error since I haven't touched the game in a while. I pressed the start button on my controller, and was brought to a file select screen. Nothing out of the ordinary, except, what? That can't be right. The first file that I was looking at was supposed to have all the fused shadows, and a few pieces of the Mirror of Twilight. It only had a few fused shadows, no Mirror of Twilight, and I only had 3 hearts. The only tunic I had was the hero's tunic, and I had the Ordon shield and the sword as part of my equipment. What was going on? I'd worked hard to get where I was, and I was almost done with the Temple of Time. I had the Master Sword, I had fused all shadows, and I definitely wasn't stupid enough to not collect any pieces of hearts on the way. I was shocked to see this. This couldn't be right. Something must have happened. I selected this file and was brought to Hyrule Field in the night time. I was Wolflink and Midna was on my back. I realised that this was the part of the game where you had to bring Midna to Zelda in Hyrule Castle after she gets blasted by so much light thanks to Zant. Midna's lament was playing in the background as usual, but something was off. There was nothing in the area. Hyrule Castle couldn't be seen from above. There were no trees, enemies, or anything of that matter. All that there was the grass of what seemed to be a never-ending plain. I pressed the Z button on my controller to speak to Midna. No text box appeared, but the camera did zoom into Midna's face. She had a very depressed look, and her fused shadow piece was a bit cracked. Her voice was heard, her actual voice I mean, and she spoke in non-gibberish words. Link, where were you all this time? You were gone for so long. We've lost everything. I was so sad, and Zelda, she... Midna then closed her eyes, but then opened them and looked straight at me. She spoke again, saying, "You're such a jerk. You let Ganon take control of both of our worlds and left me and Zelda here helpless. We were so close to saving everything too. Are you happy with yourself?" Wolflink didn't do anything. He just stood there with no expression at all. Soon, the camera zoomed out of range of Midna. She was breathing heavily like usual. All that was in my mind was, what the hell? I wasn't sure how to feel about this. I wasn't sure what was going on at all, to be exact. Could she really be referring to my absence of those 2 years? I started making Wolflink run. God knows where. I wasn't sure why I was doing this, seeing as though there wasn't any place to go. Wolflink kept running but suddenly stopped after a few minutes. A blackish looking cloud was slowly engulfing everything on screen. Wolflink ran away without my control very quickly. A text box then appeared with green font saying, "Don't worry Midna, I'll protect you." Wolflink was desperately trying to get away from the void, but to no avail, as he was soon sucked inside, and his howl could be heard from a distance. Wait a minute, did Link just talk too? I was brought to the Twilight Realm after a very long black screen had appeared, with the hero's tunic and Ordon sword in hand. My shield was gone for some reason. I decided to check the items menu to see what I had, and all I really did have was the slingshot, some water bombs, and the fishing rod. I also had half a bottle of milk. I went to the equipment menu next. Link's figure was not present on the little box where it normally should be, and my equipment from the file select before I started playing was all there. The only thing missing was my shield. I went back to the actual game and noticed that the option to speak with Midna was missing. The Twilight Realm's theme was playing in reverse, and it was a little unnerving. The Twilight Realm looked fine to me. Nothing was out of the ordinary, and it still looked like the creepy, depressing mini-temple it always was. I moved Link round, and decided to check out some of the citizens that were left. I had the option to speak to some of them, so I decided to talk with them. A text box appeared saying, "They're inside." I ran towards one of the entrances to the palace and was immediately brought to Zant's boss chamber. Midna was on the ground in the middle of the area, still in her weak state, and Zant and Ganondorf were near the throne. They both had smegs on their faces, and Midna had a really panicked look that she was breathing heavily. A text box with blue font colour appeared saying, "Help me, Link!" And Midna reached out her hand. Link ran towards her without my control yet again, and the screen cut to black. A loud boom could be heard, and Midna and Link screamed. I was brought to the title screen again, and it looked the same as it was supposed to. I was shocked, too shocked at this point to even think clearly, but something told me to look, just one last time. I clicked the start button, and was brought to a file select screen again. The file music wasn't playing anymore though, it was Midna's lament. I chose my file and a text box appeared with blue font colour saying, "You did this to us. We could have saved our worlds. But you couldn't have some patience now, could you? You disgust me. Are you proud of what you've done?" And that's the end of the story, guys. I hope you enjoyed the story. As I said in an earlier episode, I'm trying to get these out sort of once a day. Maybe a gap, like day gap between some of them. I might have like one every 2 days or something like that. You know, I'm not very well at the moment. I'm a bit sick. Nothing serious. I had a COVID test a few days ago. My results came back yesterday. I'm negative, so I don't have coronavirus, which is all good. But I am still not feeling very well. I've got a sore back, sore lungs. Look like I can still talk. I can still speak. Not will ever stop me from talking. But there'll be a playlist on screen probably sometime around now with Creepypasta story time. There'll probably be a video which is best selected for you from YouTube. Be sure to click either of those or click right in the middle where my little face is and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more. I've been GilloBoiJr. Thank you so much. Bye bye now.